Oh, hello, Cancer. So, what you're watching right now are your cards for March 2019 Love and Relationships, your tarot reading. And for you new people, there will be 9 cards. I will focus on those 9 cards for the main reading. Then I will move to the outcome card. Okay? So, I'm going to focus on a couple things. The center card right in the middle, which is the Tower. And then I will look at your major arcana as far as what is the overall theme or issue of your love life. And then there will be a 10th card, one final card. That will be your outcome card. And that will kind of tie everything up as far as what's going on in the bigger picture. So let's get started here. You have a major arcana card in the center. And you also have 2 other major arcana cards. So let me look at those because that gives me the bigger picture of what's going on with you. You do have the Hierophant, which is also considered the priest or the pope in tarot readings. And this is the energy of seeing a counselor, getting help, getting advice, learning from someone who is more wise than you. Sometimes it can mean resolving an issue, and it can mean marriage, a marriage commitment. It can mean a contract, a family obligation, and tradition. So it's about faithfulness and commitment and reaching a higher spiritual level, that which is good for you in the bigger spiritual outlook. So it's a very spiritual card, but it's also a card about wisdom and guidance and using that wisdom and guidance for your higher spiritual good. So that's a good thing, and it's in your past. Maybe you've had to resolve issues or get advice about a particular event, especially considering that we're in Mercury retrograde. So keep that in mind. It started March 5th, and it's going to continue for a couple more weeks until around March 19th or 20th. So some of you, I think communication for everybody, every astrological sign is going to be very, very bumpy for the next couple of weeks. And the best advice is to just look at the bigger picture. It'll all blow over. Don't take any misunderstandings seriously. So the Hierophant or the Pope brings in a very useful energy. More focus on understanding and finding balance and agreements and compromise. Not necessarily making assumptions. So this is good. When we get to that middle card here, and keep in mind the 3rd major arcana is death, and these 2 cards, whoa, they're like a big earthquake together, because the Tower is about certain events coming in, tearing it all down and starting over. And you know, when the Tower happens in a relationship, like a big blowover or a big change in plans, things fall apart, it can be very dramatic, very traumatic, but it's for your own good, because the Tower comes along when there are spiritual blocks or obstacles in a relationship that need to be erased. So that's going to be in your present as you go throughout the next 2 weeks. When we get to death, and many people are scared of this card, there's no reason to be afraid, because death is about a new spiritual rebirth. It means leaving the old behind, you know, things coming to a close and starting over. Does that mean some of you are going to end your relationship? Of course not. Death can be the ending of many different things, the ending of bad patterns in a relationship that did not serve you. And that's what the Tower was for. So it feels like the Tower and death are working together in your relationships. Meaning, let's get rid of everything that's not working in this relationship. Let's establish new boundaries. Let's get new perspectives, which is the energy of the Hierophant. And then by the time we get to death, we're ready to let it all go and saying, okay, it's done, over. Let's move on together. Let's just move forward. And that's when you see that Queen of Pentacles. So you have that Nine of Swords leading up to a lot of drama. You have that Six of Swords, which is about healing. You have that Queen of Swords, which is about wisdom, overcoming pain and trauma and being much wiser for it. So those swords are very significant in your reading. It's funny that you don't have any cups. Nothing. And I'm not sure that's necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes when your emotions are overwhelming, and Cancer, you guys are pretty good at pulling your emotions back and being able to establish your emotional boundaries. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that there aren't any cups. It just can mean that your emotional energy is at low tide right now. And remember, Mercury retrograde. So everyone's going to be experiencing a shift in their element, whether it's earth, water, fire, air. And also, remember, communication issues. So it's not just you. Swords have been showing up for everybody so far for this month's reading. So go with the change. It's all working to elevate your spiritual energy, okay, for both of you. So we have that Hierophant. This first row are the past influences. What's going to be a big influence in the month of March? Well, as I said, you've got the calming, wise advice of the Hierophant. You have a 10, a number 10. Remember, 10 means, okay, take a deep breath. It's all over. Let's move forward. And then you have the Queen of Swords, who's the widow of all the other queens. She's gone through a lot, but she's wiser for it. She's dealt with a lot of sorrows, emotional pain, but she was able to come through it. And she's holding that one sword. When you hold that one sword, it can mean communication, making a big decision. It also represents truth. So Cancer, some of you have come through, just like everybody else, emotional, a bad time emotionally with your partner, but you're coming through it, and you're coming into the month of March finding your equilibrium. So this Three of Pentacles, and Pentacles are always a good energy because they're grounding and they're stable. That's why you have this Six of Swords here. So Three of Pentacles, it's all about your gifts, receiving recognition, but it's also focusing and getting back to work on what's meaningful, setting your priorities. The Tower comes along and it helps that Three of Pentacles in a relationship, like, this is enough. Here's what we need to do. Let's work it out together. And then this Six of Swords, this is the card of traveling. It can mean actual physical travel over water. But it can also mean metaphorically traveling to a better place emotionally and trying to heal. So when we get here to the future, nothing to be afraid of here. There's going to be a little drama, a little worry, a little anxiety, and anticipation of death, coming to make a clean sweep and finish off the work of the Tower. But then you have this Queen of Pentacles. So now we come from a Queen of Swords to a Queen of Pentacles, and she's considered the happy housewife, the devoted partner, the committed partner. So if these pentacles are associated for some with your partner, if you're looking at those pentacles and saying, yeah, my partner seems a little bit out of focus, it seems like they'd rather take some space, it seems like they're slowing down in a relationship, there's no reason to be worried about that, because it seems as if the relationship is going through an adjustment period. And that's when we get that Queen of Pentacles, the happy housewife or house husband. But in general, that Queen of Pentacles restores balance. It can mean a happy home, committed partner, all of that good stuff that comes with a physical living together, um, still being committed to each other, being practical. So your outcome card, which I just pulled, is the Strength card. And that's a lovely card because Strength is another major arcana card, and it's associated with Leo. But the Strength also means taming the ego. It means that you're strong enough to handle these obstacles and not let them overwhelm you. And it can mean also having courage as well, that you're safe, secure, and confident on the path that you're going through or on in this relationship. And both of you are going to be able to come out of this cycle, especially with Mercury retrograde, feeling a little bit more secure, feeling a little bit more self-assured. Okay. So that was your reading. Remember, I have a special promotion for my personal readings, $15, and probably until Easter. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading from me, or if this is your first time watching my readings, consider it. It's the same. You would get a video reading, and it's the same video that you just watched. So I will see you next month. A big thank you to people who've made donations, my subscribers, all the lovely comments you guys have posted. I'm so happy to get to know some of you. I've gotten quite a bit of new people requesting readings. And as always, I've heard from my old customers as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So I will see you next month. Be safe. Don't worry, it'll all work out. And as always, I wish you love and light.